everybody? And hello, welcome to Dodgers Territory, presented by Fox One. Man, we are psyched that you are here. I'm bummed that the Dodgers aren't playing tonight, but I am not bummed that the Dodgers swept the Milwaukee Brewers and are heading back to the World Series. I'm Alanna Rizzo. That is Clint Pasillas. We are so psyched that you guys are with us. We're looking forward to welcoming Steven Nelson here momentarily. But before we do that, Clint, don't forget to like, subscribe, rate us 5 stars. And by the way, you can support the show in style, guys. The Dodgers Territory shop has been open for quite some time. You can scan that QR code right there, or you can just go on the Google machine at dodgersterritoryshop.com. Clint, lots to talk about. Let's get into the big ticket.
Let's do it.
All right, 9-1 so far this postseason. I'd say the Dodgers can't lose, but they did lose one game. But I tell you what, they've looked really good. This team is playing well. They're playing together, and they're doing it at all the right time.
Yeah, it's been a fun postseason to watch. Not a whole lot of stress. I mean, stress still could be ahead for us. World Series, don't know who we're going to be playing just yet, but seeing the way this organization kind of took it to the Brew Crew, the team that had the most wins in baseball this year, the team that went 6-0 against the Dodgers this during the regular season, I feel pretty confident that the Dodgers can continue striding and playing a very good brand of baseball. What are you feeling right now, and the kind of calm before the storm?
My thing is, and I said this the other day a couple of different times in a couple of different areas, the regular season record doesn't mean squat, Clint Pasillas. The reason I say that is some people were a little nervous, as I guess that they should be if you're looking based on the numbers only. The Dodgers did not play well against the Milwaukee Brewers over the course of the regular season. In fact, they were undefeated, those Brewers were, against the Dodgers, 6-0, but we didn't have our entire complement, our entire starting rotation. Guys were hurt, guys were on the IL, some guys weren't super productive at that time. But now when it matters, remember, guys, the Dodgers are built for October. They're not built for random series in March or June or July or even August. They're built for October. So that was the Dodgers then. This is the Dodgers now. And I feel so confident in saying that there's no way in the world, in my estimation, that the Dodgers don't repeat, regardless of whether it is the Toronto Blue Jays, whether it is the Seattle Mariners. No disrespect to those clubs. We'll ask Steven Nelson coming up, who he thinks the Dodgers are better served against. We'll talk to him about that. But let's talk about some of the standouts so far, Clint. Obviously, let's start with the NLCS MVP, Shohei Ohtani.
What a guy here. That's a pretty good week he had in that one game there. Of course, you were away, so we got to celebrate the Shohei Ohtani game, as we're calling it. First player to hit a leadoff homer in a game. First pitcher to hit a leadoff homer in MLB history. Multi-homer game by a pitcher. 3 homers, 10 strikeouts. Hit the crap out of the ball. Very hard hits with 116 mile an hour plus on the fastball. Well, as Steven Nelson said, it's stuff of legend what you saw out of Shohei Ohtani. That's one guy. Obviously, Shohei Ohtani, we know, is somebody who could put a team on his back, which he did, part of that MV3. But one of the things I really like, if we're talking about standouts so far this postseason and in that series, kind of keep the line moving sort of dudes, Tommy Edman, Will Smith, Kiké Hernandez having themselves very nice postseasons. With Will Smith, you see there, I kind of cherry-picked, throwing up just the NLCS stats, but if you look at those stats, breaking 400 with an 871 OPS is very, very good. Tommy Edman hit 286 over the postseason, but more importantly, 333 with an 860 OPS and 5 of those 6 RBIs since I called him out a couple weeks ago or a week ago saying, hey, you know what? I would love to see Tommy Edman really, really get going. So thank you for listening to the show, Tommy Edman. And then back to that graphic there, Kiké Hernandez. I'm calling him the facilitator this postseason, Alanna, because 3 runs, 4 rounds batted in, getting the walks, he's getting his hits, he's getting big doubles that are helping this ball club out as well. And another cool thing with Kiké Hernandez, your friend, not my friend, I like him, but we're not friends. He's set to pass another Dodger legend, Justin Turner, on the all-time games played list in Dodgers franchise history, which is absurd. Thoughts on Kiké?
It's absurd, and it's absurd, and it's a beautiful thing. I mean, I think I've seen we all have witnessed the transformation that is Kiké Hernandez. And apart from Chase Utley, Kiké has said publicly that JT is probably the second most influential teammate and friend and mentor and leader and guyer of all of the teammates that he's ever had. I mean, Chase Utley obviously has a massive influence on Kiké, changed his diet, changed his style, changed a lot of things about the way that Kiké went about his business. But JT has always been a player coach. I would not be surprised one iota if Justin Turner ended up, if he's going to retire or whatever, ends up in the Dodgers system in some capacity, coaching and then eventually managing. And to see Kiké get that emotional when he was asked about this, and the fact of being able to tie Justin Turner for most postseason games played, he could surpass him in terms of most postseason games played. And Kiké went from a guy that obviously is a heck of a personality, right? He's a big personality, banana suit guy. But Andrew Friedman at the beginning of the season, Clint told you and I on an exclusive interview that we had with him that he has become such an unbelievable leader. And Andrew would not have thought at the time that Kiké was going to go from being that banana suit guy in the plane dancing with JT and Jock Peterson to a guy that was such an unbelievable influence and such an unbelievable leader. And again, we talk about it ad nauseum, what Kiké Hernandez does in the postseason. He just takes it to another level, his game, his attitude, all of the things. But Kiké has meant a tremendous amount to this club over the course of the time that he's been. And I can't even think about Kiké in any other uniform, Houston Astros, whatever. I always think of Kiké as a Dodger. And he was one of the people I said we absolutely have to bring back, right? The Hernandez brothers, when we were coming into the season. Kiké means a lot to this club. And he means a lot to what's going on in October. Make no mistake about it. He's a huge reason the Dodgers are in the position that they're in again.
We've talked a lot about the whole idea of flipping a switch. Kiké is flipping a switch incarnate right there. The calendar gets late into the season. You get into September. I mean, this was a dude. When we spoke to Kiké, I think shortly after he re-signed, late this before the spring training, he had mentioned into last year. He wasn't 100% certain he was going to be around. The numbers were bad. They were kind of worse this year. There wasn't the glasses savior for him this time around, but. At this point, the Dodgers understand the formula. Just wait. Get to October. Kiké will figure it out. October will work its magic on and become Keektober for us. Shout out to Michael Conforto for essentially being the placeholder for Kiké Hernandez and finally getting his eventually getting his starting spot in the lineup. It's going to be left field. It's going to be left field moving forward. And the next time you see him out there, he will be tying the great Justin Turner on that all-time games played list. It is pretty cool. Now, the team doesn't run and live and die through Kiké Hernandez, but my guy, the facilitator, making a big difference for this ball club.
I think they die by without having him. I don't think the Dodgers are where they're at without. I mean, is he the end all be all? No, but if he's not in that lineup, the Dodgers aren't where they are. I mean, Kiké, and I've said this before 1,000 times, Kiké could go 0 for the regular season, and I could not care less. But I want him on my postseason roster. No one's thanking Conforto for anything. He's NS.
Thank you, NS.
Yeah, I just Kiké is a difference maker. He is exactly what this team needs in October. And again, there are some guys that just get kind of a little bit bored in the regular season. Kiké, sometimes Teo, sometimes Nick Castellanos with the Philadelphia Phillies, who's probably not a Philly next year. But there are guys, it's tough to turn it on. There are very few Freddie Freemans, like, take your lunch pail to the park every single day, head down, don't say anything, do type of guys, but it takes all kinds, and Kiké is super special. Steven Nelson is going to join us momentarily. Clint, before we do that, let's give a shout out to our friends over at DraftKings. Football is back, and so is your shot at big wins with DraftKings Pick 6, the official daily fantasy partner of the NFL. Your game day instincts can score you real money fast. Here's the play.
Just pick more or less on 2 or more player stats, from breakout rookies to elite QBs, and unlock the upside every snap brings. The better your calls, the bigger your payout.
This season, play your player instincts. Download the DraftKings Pick 6 app now. Use code FOUL, that's FOUL. Pay just $5. Get $50 in Pick 6 bonus picks picks. Make the call, ride the upside in partnership with DraftKings Pick 6. The crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org in Connecticut. Must be 18 and over. Age and eligibility restrictions vary by jurisdiction. Pick 6 not available everywhere, including New York and Ontario. Void where prohibited. 1 per new customer. Bonus awarded as non-withdrawable Pick 6 bonus picks that expire in 14 days. Limited time offer. See terms at pick6.draftkings.com/promos.
It's always a pleasure to have our friend Steven Nelson on the program. Aloha, Mr. Nelson. You, of course, can see him on Sportsnet LA. You can, of course, hear him on AM 570 calling the games with our friend Rick Monday and Dwayne McDonald, tremendous radio engineers. Steven, good to be with you. What is your takeaway so far, sir, from this Dodgers postseason thus far?
Tommy Edman got snubbed for NLCS MVP. Don't know how you could have given it to this Ohtani guy. Does one good game and everybody loses their mind. No. If I were to answer that sincerely, I would say, you have to start with the starting pitching. I think everything that happened in the regular season, it was agonizing at times, especially for those guys who weren't able to pitch for most of the regular season. It was frustrating at times for fans to feel like, why are they not kind of taking the reins off of Shohei and letting him go? Like, we're in a dogfight for the division. Like, let him go. And I think the Dodgers are being rewarded for their discipline in that regard now, the biggest time of the year. To get the performances that they got in that series in succession, of course, it's not what the White Sox did in 2005, 4 straight complete games to close out that ALCS against the Angels. But for Snell, Yama, Glasnow, and then Ohtani to kind of just pass the torch to one another and all handle business in their respective fashions, in their own ways, I think that they have to take the cake for what's stood out so far in this postseason.
Yeah, it's funny. I wanted to bring up the starting rotation in its own way. The real secret weapon for the Dodgers this October is the worst kept secret in baseball. 10 starts, 1.4 ERA, 64 and a third innings pitched for that unit there, and 1 complete game. Nelly, we hear the Dodgers are ruining baseball.
Should have been 2. I think Doc would tell you should have been 2.
Yeah, I mean, we'll give him a bit of a
give him a
pass.
break.
Give him a pass. He's pretty good at his job as well. But yeah, I mean, the Dodgers are ruining baseball. If this is ruining baseball, I love it. I very much enjoy it. Seeing guys go out there and it's old school baseball. Throw a bunch of high paid elite talent on the bump, and it just makes your job that much easier. More thoughts about how good this rotation has been.
Yeah, you brought up the ruining baseball thing, and I personally love what Doc said on the stage, just sort of kind of calling out the narrative that's in the room with this team throughout the year, and what you have seen before that and since then is just really a lot of projection. It's just a lot of misdirected emotions. People don't know how to properly process the business of sport, the business of baseball. And I go back to what Bryce Harper said, like, only losers complain about what the Dodgers are doing. And then Harp's teammate, JT Realmuto, even doubled down on it. He's like, they are what Major League Baseball should be. The Dodgers and the Phillies with the Middletons, that's exactly how a Major League team should operate. And people could make fun of the Mets and they're collapsed out of the postseason this year. But the way Steve Cohen has run things since he's taken over, that's how it should be done. And there's that graphic that everybody could see out there. It's like the amount of profit that is, at least the information that's publicly made available, profit for each franchise, and then the amount of said profit that is redistributed into the team, into the organization, into acquiring talent, into player development, into anything that is going to elevate your on-field product. The best teams, the best organizations do that. And instead of getting mad at the Dodgers, why don't you look at the bottom of that graphic? I think that's that would be my simple instruction. Anybody who, again, is struggling with their emotions, it's really just because they're frustrated because their favorite team or their favorite organization, whatever sport, they're not doing that. So I think that's how I would like to address that question. I'm going to be honest with you. Forgot the second half of your question because I was just so kind of.
I'll ask you this question. Talk about
Okay.
those Phillies, Stephen, because you
Yeah.
mentioned Bryce Harper, you mentioned Kyle Schwab, you mentioned the way that the Middletons run their franchise. Now, was that the biggest test in your estimation for the Dodgers this postseason? To me, that felt, I realize you can't have two NL teams in the World Series, people, but to me, that felt more like a World Series matchup than whomever the Dodgers are going to face.
Yeah, Alanna, you're spot on. I totally agree with you. And this isn't even like a hindsight thought. And this discussion is being had with respect to the Brewers. The Milwaukee Brewers had a magical year, most wins in Major League Baseball, and they earned it. Like, it wasn't just like some fluke. Going back to late May, from that point forward, I think May 18th on, best offense in baseball, best pitching staff in baseball. Not a fluke. They just went ice cold at the wrong time. But going into the division series, like, we were in Philadelphia. Everyone was looking around. It's like, this is kind of like 2024 against San Diego, where it feels like this series is going to determine the World Series, at least the National League pennant. I think you felt confident whoever was going to win, the Dodgers or the Phils, was going to have a really good shot to get by whoever came out of the other side of the bracket, whether it was the Cubs or the Brewers, and ultimately was the Brewers. So it definitely had 2024 vibes in that way as we were watching those games. It was definitely a lot closer than that 3-1 series. You know, you could. I think that much is evident. It's not a hot take. And the only shame of that matchup is that it wasn't a best of 7, because those were the two heavyweights in the National League in the postseason still. So the fact that the Dodgers are able to overcome that, they're not going to see left-handed pitching like that the rest of the way. You know, Milwaukee included in that. That was perspective. You know, going through the DS. You're not going to face a Sanchez, Luzardo, and Suarez in succession again. That's not going to happen. So hopefully there's an exhale from number 17 in that regard. He's not going to see that sort of nastiness from the left side. But yeah, now that they kind of climb that mountain, they're going to. It doesn't mean they're going to win it all. It doesn't guarantee anything. But I think it certainly adds to the confidence that group already has in the clubhouse.
Yeah, and a couple of good options, obviously, for the Dodgers to be facing starting on Friday. Seattle Mariners, Toronto Blue Jays both have their strengths, both have their weaknesses. If you're drawing,
have you guys had that talk already? Who would you rather?
No, we're going to put it on you.
Oh, you put it on me. Thanks.
We can have a dialogue here. All of us will have a dialogue right here. I mean, personally, I like the team staying on the West Coast. I think it's a little bit better. They get home field advantage if they're playing the Mariners. There's that strength there, but they also got very good starting pitching. Blue Jays got a ton of slug. Maybe don't have the starting pitching. I lean Mariners. I don't know which way Alanna leans. Nelly, where do you lean?
Honestly, you could spin it any which way you want. Yeah. If I'm the Dodgers, whatever team gives me home field advantage, that would be Seattle. But that's how I would split that hair, because I really do think that you could say, would you rather face George Kirby, Logan Gilbert, Luis Castillo, 80%? Well, probably that's maybe a little too much. 70% Brian Wu, and then Bryce Miller, who's kind of gotten things rolling back to the way he looked a year ago. Like that, those are some dudes right there. And on the other side for Toronto, it's Kevin Gausman and this a nasty rookie named Savage.
Yeah.
And that's it, because and with respect to Trey, because like what his prospect profile is, and he's a first round pick, and Trey's like he's handled the big stage up to this point, but he's got 6 starts under his belt, right? Like So to me, that kind of matters. Barrios isn't healthy. Bassett isn't healthy. Scherzer just had a really good one the other day relative to this year, but he's not the old Mad Max. The Dodgers swept Seattle. They took 2 out of 3 from Toronto. Should have swept Toronto in the regular season. Ultimately, all that to say, one team has Vladimir Guerrero Jr. and the other team does. And facing Vladimir Guerrero Jr. without home field advantage, so those are the 2 kickers for me. Again, you could spin it either which way you want, and I would agree with you. Sure, that makes sense. But I would like the Dodgers to have home field advantage, and I would prefer to not face Vladimir Guerrero Jr.
Steven Nelson, I don't see a world in which the Dodgers do not repeat as World Series champions, regardless if they play the Mariners. And no disrespect to either club. I just think the Dodgers are better. Yeah. I think their starting staff is better. I think their lineup is better. Their bullpen gives me pause, but so far that hasn't been a major need because the starters have been tremendous.
What a homer.
The Dodgers win the World Series if, and the Dodgers lose the World Series if. Please complete those sentences.
Oh, I'm awful at that game. I really am. The Dodgers win the World Series if, again, rocket science, the starters can do 85% of what we saw in the LCS. Because to ask them to repeat that, they can do it. But to ask them to repeat that is maybe a little aggressive and greedy. Because I just think, this time of year, you could have a red hot lineup and a talented lineup as we saw in the last two series, especially in the LCS, but even the division series, because there's more star power for the Phillies. The pitching will beat hitting at this time of year. So it's on the horses. The Dodgers have rode them this far, and they want to ride them to the finish line. So that's how they win the World Series. They lose the World Series if, like it'd be easy to say, if that doesn't happen, I'll try and give you something else. Here's the thing: like they have only lost one game this postseason. They are, 4 wins away from a World Series, and outside like the first 2 games of the wild card and maybe like 1.5 games to start the division series, the offense has just been sort of okay. It's been okay. Mm-hmm. So would like to see more of that. I think Dave Roberts was asked about that before. I forget which game. He's like, execution with runners in scoring position and, moving guys over and doing those things like that. And Doc agrees, like, we got to be better. So, if the offense, I think, because again, you cannot just bet on the rotation doing that again. If they don't get some more help from the offense, then maybe that prevents them from going back to back. Again, I'm terrible at that game. I'm just bad. I own that.
One thing that will help the Dodgers offense be better is not facing Christopher Sanchez or Jesus Luzardo or Jacob Mizorowski.
Right. And you look at Seattle. No lefty starters, and the Dodgers they just saw their left-handers the last weekend of the regular season. And I get that those games didn't matter for either club, but they got a peek at all of them, mm-hmm. right? And including old friend Caleb Ferguson. Mm-hmm. And then for the Blue Jays, it's Eric Lauer, veteran lefty. The Dodgers have seen a ton. Brendan Little, and then Mason Fluharty. I might be forgetting one. Justin Brule, another friend of another old friend. So again, all those guys, major league pitchers. They're talented guys. Gabe Spire of the Mariners, I think, is comfortably the best one of all of them, but he's only one guy. So in a 7-game series, you're going to get a few peeks at him. Yeah, there's none of those guys that you compared to on these two teams. So doesn't guarantee anything, but it should make you feel better. It should make you feel better about the World Series going into it. The rest versus rust, I'm preemptively exhausted with that discussion, because it's going to be everywhere all day for the next 5 days until we actually mm-hmm. see a game.
And especially if they lose game 1, they're going to be like, "Oh, the layoff was too much."
Yep. Yeah. Hey, been there, done that though. They did that last year. They've figured it out. They have figured out the rest part of it. There is no rust. These boys are hanging out, having a good time, getting ready to play whoever, either to fly out to Toronto or stay home and welcome the Mariners. Stephen, we got to get you to talk about Roki Sasaki, if I mess that one up for us. Yeah, you mentioned the Dodgers win if the starting rotation does its thing, But somebody who is very much snuck up on the baseball world here is the new reinvigorated rookie, and his 1.13 ERA, 5 games finished. The dude has been elite, and it feels like a lot of the league doesn't really know what the hell to do with this guy. What's your kind of vantage point of the honest, true, not so secret weapon now in Roki?
Right. Yeah, I saw Willie Benson's interview on Foul Territory yesterday. Maybe it was a couple days ago, and he was like, "Yeah, I'd only seen him on video. I never faced him." And my God, something like that. And it's huge shout out to Roki Sasaki for again just kind of ascending from the ashes out of this year. This was going to be a lost rookie season, and everyone was going to spin it as, all right, like, took his lumps year one, like that was his welcome to the big leagues. Just got punched in the mouth, and just kind of had to figure everything out, be humbled, yada yada. Like, and everyone was just I think resigned to that fact. Mm-hmm. So for him to be in this spot now, closing postseason games after what we saw at the start of the year, it's truly incredible, and it's a huge testament to his work ethic, the Dodgers staff in Glendale. Rob Hill on down, the whole pitching development side, everybody in OKC, and of course, Mark McGinnis and the athletic training staff with the Dodgers, just to kind of rebuild him, mentally and emotionally more than anything physically. Obviously, the downtime's going to help him heal up, but just to get his mechanics back. And then now to talk more baseball as opposed to like the emotions, what we saw in Milwaukee, game 1, that was the first time where it was like, okay, the game is sped up on him, right? And the moment is kind of getting to him here. And when the game speeds up on you, the mechanics can fall out of whack. You could be thrown against air in Glendale, Arizona, and you could be synced up and dotting 101 all you want. That's not the NLCS and on the road and a time run at the plate. Like, you can't simulate that. And so for him to kind of endure that, Blake trying to pick him up, and then bounce back, like another huge, feather in his cap, notch in his belt in this new role. So yeah, it has totally changed the game for the Dodgers, for Dave Roberts and his trust tree in that bullpen, and really the rest of the staff moving forward. I think having Roki pitch how he's pitching, to have Vesia and Anthony Banda has really come on strong. Now the starters, they don't have that in the back of their mind. It's like, oh, I might have to go like 8 shutty for us to have a chance today. I think that's another part of it that I, tend to think about too, is just how one guy's success or a couple guys' success can help alleviate mental pressure on other guys. So I think that's massive. And then, I know we've kind of buried the lead here, bring him up, but Ohtani to have that game in game 4, that should be a massive exhale for him, because throughout this postseason, guys, you were watching the ABs. They were not Shohei Ohtani ABs. He was trying to make up for the 2 for 22, 2 for 23, 2 for 24, 2 for 25, kept creeping up and up and up. And he was trying to hit 7-run homers every time at the plate. And so now it's like, okay, I did that to help us clinch a pennant. Now we go. Yeah. So that's the hope.
What was it like for you, Steven, calling that game? I'm watching you, and you're more of the entertainment than the damn game is when you're calling it in the booth with Rick Monday, and you're so animated. And first of all, it's the game of legend, right? I mean, that game was unbelievable. The stuff of legend from Shohei Ohtani on the mound as well as in the box. But what is it like for you as a broadcaster, especially on the radio, when you're really trying to paint a picture and describe what's going on, to do your job, but also to be as excited as you are as a fan when you're witnessing this unbelievable game unfold?
Yeah, so it has become my favorite part of those videos is just the juxtaposition of you and Rick. My insanity, and then that's Rick. I mean, me and Mo, it's yin and yang, right? Because Mo has seen and done everything that there is to see and do in the game of baseball. There is nothing that has that man flustered. For me, it does not take much.
He's just getting the sponsorship cards. It's the best.
Daniel's Jewelers. Yeah, Daniel's Jewelers. Like that's like I could see that out of my peripheral. So if I'm like if I'm struggling to read the ball flight, but I see Mo twisting his torso and getting an oblique workout in, then I know it's probably going. But it's become like it's still fans who don't they're not used to seeing Mo during a game. They're like, oh my gosh, does Rick Monday even care? Gosh, does Mo actually hate your guts? Gosh, does anything get Mo excited? Like if people, like the game has become secondary to just watching Mo's reaction. So I've really enjoyed that. As for that game specifically, Alanna, I think you saw it with each home run, like us losing our collective minds. We were so dumbstruck as that evening was playing out. Like striking out 3 in the top of the first, leadoff home run, like that's an all-time game right there. You know what I mean? Like he could have not struck out another batter. He could have not hit another home run, and we still would have been talking about that for forever. To then go kind of 6+ shutty, just 2 hits, 3 walks. He had a lot of full counts that elevated the pitch count, but he still punched out 10. And then to hit 3 mammoth home runs, not wall scrapers, right? 3/4 of the way up the right field pavilion next to the bullpen. That's a shot. Hit it over the roof, which we couldn't quite see from our vantage point in the moment. Like I really did not like my call on the second one. It was an extraordinary home run, and I felt like my call was kind of ordinary. But that's just you guys know me. I'm like I hate myself. And then the it's true. I'm just being honest. And then the third home run, like McGill 99 inside corner where inner third wasn't like perfectly off the inside corner where the Phillies were just pounding him in during the division series for him to go left center with and that was more of a bullet. Like none of those were cheapies. So you put all that combined to win a pennant. I think it was, I want to get it right, I think it was Chelsea James who tweeted it, the greatest player to ever play the game just played the greatest game that's ever been played. Something like that. Again, I hope it was. I guess paraphrasing at the end of the day, but that was spot on. The only person who can top that, unless another alien, unless another alien comes along in 100 years, is him. We literally sat after that third home run. Mo and I didn't say anything for like 45 seconds, and it was partly because I'm a big advocate letting the moment breathe, but mostly because we just had nothing to say. Yeah, we had nothing, and it's our job to have words. We had zero.
I really love Mo with that. You're there just like, please help me out, and he gave you nothing. Absolutely nothing. That's a pro right there, letting you just rot.
Yeah, and again, and he said, he's like, I've never seen anything like that. And again, if all the people that have been in his orbit throughout his life in baseball, for Mo to say that, that just kind of seals the deal for me.
Yeah, Shohei Ohtani he's a video game character. That's it.
He is.
Yeah. If you turn all the difficulty off, and you know what I mean. If you're playing against my 2-year-old, That's
Steven, we can't wait to hear some unbelievable calls coming up. Let's do 4 more, my friend. We appreciate you taking the time. Hope Corey and the boys are doing well. Enjoy this run. Go get another ring.
I hope so. I'm just a fly on the wall for this ride, and 4 more. That's all I keep saying. 4 more. I'm with you. And we'll talk to you guys again soon.
All right, Steven Nelson. You can hear him on AM 570. You can see him on Sportsnet LA. We always appreciate all that he does, his energy, his call, his enthusiasm, everything. All right, we're going to be right back after a word from our friends at Foul Territory.
Can I interest you in Surfshark VPN, which allows you to mask certain parts of your surfing around the web? Or let's say you're somewhere and you're like, I don't need this app to know where I am 24/7. That pops up on your phone all the time. Surfshark can help you out with that.
Privacy and protection. I love it.
Surfshark keeps your online activity private, and you can appear in a different location. That's where you can get help with the online services or apps that are constantly asking you where you are. Change or hide your virtual location and surf safely with Surfshark VPN. So go to surfshark.com/Fowler. Use code Fowler at checkout to get 4 extra months of Surfshark VPN. A risk-free 30-day money-back guarantee is there for you, and you can secure your digital life with Surfshark VPN by hitting the link below for an extra 4 months of Surfshark. Don't let online threats catch you off guard. This has been your tech update. Keep your data safe and take control of your online security with Surfshark.
All right, time now to introduce you guys to Henry. He's our little 12-year-old senior chihuahua. He is so sweet, so mild-mannered, and still, honestly, has a lot of love to give and a lot of life left to live. He's in great health. We think he's 12. We're not exactly sure, but he has a clean bill of health, and he needs a forever home. If anybody is interested in adopting Henry, please reach out to me on my socials or GoodreadsGuardian.org. And if you can't adopt Henry, you can certainly donate. $1 helps with our mission. We certainly want to thank Fox One for their partnership of being with us here on Dodgers territory. All right, Clint, if we talk about what's coming up on All Dodgers with Clint Pasillas, what do you have? What are you talking about?
Well, I'm assuming somebody is going to win the American League pennant tonight. So we will be talking about whichever team the Dodgers are set to face on Friday in the World Series. Are the Dodgers and Shohei Ohtani getting on a plane to Toronto, or are they staying home?
Maybe is Shohei Ohtani finally getting on a plane to Toronto? Dun dun dun.
Dun, dun, dun,
Although
but,
did we play? We played Toronto. He went.
Yeah. But that doesn't help the bid here.
Yeah,
right.
Right.
But yeah, we will be live tonight sometime after that game is over, probably 8:30ish LA time. So do check it out. I have a button for that. There it is. Check it out. All Dodgers with Clint Pasillas and Jeff Snyder. The boys should all be there, including my friend Kevin Skinner, producer Kevin, as we call him. Riz, before we left, I want to continue on a little bit more with the whole idea of Dodgers ruining baseball and all of this money BS. There's a couple of graphics, one of which Nelly had brought up there. This one has gone around a whole bunch, and I mean it's going to be small for people on the phone.
This is a great depiction of why people should not be mad at the Dodgers. Be mad at the other friggin' teams that don't spend any money on payroll and revenue. Look at what the Miami Marlins, not surprisingly, guys, 30th on the list. They spend 27% of their revenue on players.
Ridiculous.
Okay? That's all you need to know. The Dodgers are at 73%. So essentially and again, I'm no wizard in terms of accounting, but I can tell you that when you spend the majority of your income and your revenue stream back into your players and back into the product that is going out on the field, that tends to yield itself a professional team that actually wins and an ownership group that actually wins or cares about winning. And if you're a Los Angeles Lakers fan, which I know many Dodgers fans are, you should be super duper psyched that Mark Walter and Guggenheim just bought the Lakers. Okay? Because it's going to be exactly the way that what they're doing with the Los Angeles Dodgers. So yes, I understand big market teams have some benefits, but I don't know how many times, I'm going to put it on my tombstone. I don't know how many times I have to tell people that all 30 owners have the ability to spend money. Yeah. It's the owners that choose to spend it that should be applauded and not crucified. And I'll finish with this. I loved what Dave Roberts, what he had to say. Yeah. Let's ruin baseball a little bit more. Paraphrasing, 4 more wins. Let's really ruin baseball by getting 4 more wins. Hell yeah, let's go.
You mentioned the other teams, the other organizations that have the potential to spend. It's not the Dodgers' fault that the Boston Red Sox did not want to pay Mookie Betts a fair living wage for his talents. Yeah, it's a lot of money. To us, it's not a fair living wage. To him, it's a fair living wage. So he falls to their laps. This from the guy who chipped in for you, spot started, Blake Harris. He had tweeted this over the weekend. Any team could have signed Blake Snell over this offseason. Freddie Freeman, it was maybe not so much any team, but trading for Tommy Edman. Nobody really wanted Teoscar Hernandez. Picking up Max Muncy quite literally off the scrap heap. Don't be upset at the Dodgers that your team and your ownership sucks. Be upset at your ownership. It's just that simple. The Dodgers are out here trying to win baseball. We saw in 21, 22, 23, various reasons for this team struggles. Paramount, right at the top, was starting pitching, and Mark Walter said, go fix that, and that's where you get Yamamoto. At the time, you signed Shohei Ohtani, who was just getting hit. By the way, he's arguably the most talented arm in that starting rotation. And then you mix in Blake Snell in the offseason to go along with the guys that you have developed.
Blake Snell has been every bit of that Snellzilla that we hope that he got. I mean, my God, he has been, and I know we lost him for a long period of time, but the Dodgers had enough to be able to maintain until they got to this point. But he has been such a joy to watch.
The last thing I'll say is the frustration of the headlines that are already coming out. Like minutes after the Brewers are eliminated, they're talking about, they're going to look to trade Freddie Peralta so they don't have to pay him $8 million.
Immediately.
Tarek Skubal.
It's like they're not even on the plane. They're not even on the plane yet, and they're already talking Paul Skeens and Skubal and
Skeens needs to escape. That's a different story.
Well, no, throw that graphic back up there about the revenue, because somebody was talking about it in our chat. Like, look at Pittsburgh, you guys. Look at Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh, in terms of revenue, $326 million in 2024. You look at their payroll and tax is $112 million. They spent 34.5% on putting it back into players. You think if I'm Paul Skeens, I have both feet out the door. Like, you're not going to win there. And those types of guys, the Tarek Skubals, and Detroit's better than Pittsburgh, but like the Paul Skeens of the world, they want to win. People that are that good are not, in my opinion, are not that good, are not content to settle on a team and just make a boatload of money, in my opinion. But the final
thing I'll add on this, throw that graphic back up again, looking at, the Dodgers revenue, $752 million last year. Good products get you money. You invest in the team, people show up, they spend money at your ballpark, they want to watch your baseball team, they want to buy your jerseys. Yeah, Ohtani helps a lot with that as well. But if you invest in the organization, you will reap the rewards and be able to invest even more like the Los Angeles Dodgers do.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. I mean, think about it. There's certain things in the world that you don't skimp on. Toilet paper, bacon. There's certain things that you have to get. The generic version is not going to work, right?
Yeah.
The generic version, coffee. People are very bougie when it comes to coffee.
Yeah.
But anyway, the point is the Dodgers do it the right way. They spend a lot of money. They make a lot of money, but they spend a lot of money too. And they treat their employees incredibly well. I was there for 7 years. It was phenomenal. They treat you really, really, really well. So anyway, that being said, everybody check out Clint tonight on All Dodgers with Clint Pasillas. A big shout out to our friends at Fox One for sponsoring us. Thank you to Steven Nelson for being here today. Do not forget, we appreciate all the help we can get, guys. When you sponsor our show, you sponsor our clothes. It makes a difference for Clint and I. It makes a difference for the entire show. It makes a difference for Foul Territory as a platform. So DodgersTerritoryShop.com or scan that QR code. Clint and I will be back on Thursday at our regular time as we discuss who the Dodgers will play in the World Series. And of course, we will be on post game for every Dodgers game throughout the World Series as well. So thanks, guys, for being here. We appreciate it. Clint, have a good day. Happy belated. I know you're 40 now. You're old. We'll see you guys on Thursday. Go
Bye.
Dodgers.